The blockchain space is asking, no, scratch that. At this point, the blockchain space is basically begging for new developers. There is such a shortage of Web3 developers, it's not even funny at this point.
Nah, it's not funny, I've got school.
As a matter of fact, it's technically hindering the curve of mass adoption when it comes to Web 3.0. That's how serious this bottleneck effect is. So what does this mean for people like you and I? Well, whether you're an inexperienced developer or an experienced developer, the Web3 space is calling for you. Now, if in this video, I can save you just 1 hour's worth of work, just bare minimum, just 1 hour's worth of work, well then all the work that I put into making this video is not gonna go in vain. So if you can appreciate this content, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that push notification bell so you get all my content as soon as it comes out. Now you're gonna wanna stay to the end of the video, because at the end of the video, I'm gonna tell you how you can become a Web 3.0 developer in 3 months' time with no prior web experience, period. Stay tuned. All right, so first things first, if you want to become a blockchain developer, you need to learn blockchain first before you learn anything else. Now, that goes for experienced as well as inexperienced developers. So if you have prior experience with object-oriented languages such as C++, Java, etc., those will help you in learning languages like Solidity, Viper, and Haskell. However, if you do not have prior programming experience, it's best that you dive into these languages straight on. Don't beat around the bush learning all these other languages that aren't necessarily going to help you when it comes to creating smart contracts, creating DeFi applications, and things of that nature. You want to go ahead and just dive right into what is going to work for you. Essentially, it is a limiting belief to think that you need to learn all these other languages when it comes to programming before you can become a blockchain developer and learn the languages that are specific and native to the Web3 space. You need to be focusing on the primary skill in Web 3.0 currently, which is developing smart contracts. Now, Solidity is by far the most beginner-friendly language when it comes to creating smart contracts. You can use Solidity to write smart contracts in the Ethereum ecosystem, the Binance Smart Chain ecosystem, as well as Polygon ecosystems, and many others. So by far, Solidity is most beginner-friendly as well as most compatible with many different blockchains. Next, creating realistic goals for yourself is very important. If becoming a blockchain developer in 3 months' time is an unrealistic goal for you, then don't do it. You should be getting your hands dirty with tutorial projects so you get a better understanding of how smart contracts work. It's way better than just reading it out of a book, to be completely honest with you. I've tried that route and it's just not the best way to go. You want to get your hands dirty. You want to be making code. You want to be editing smart contracts, and you want to be creating your own ideas and turning them into projects. Just like a verbal language, there are many aspects of a programming language, yet only a small percentage get used over and over again, which is what you should be mastering as a beginner. In order to master a language, whether it be verbal or a programming language, you want to master the conversational components before you move on to more complicated components. If you're trying to understand Spanish for the very first time, and you pick up a dictionary and read it cover to cover, you're still not going to understand how to properly converse with somebody in Spanish. You're just not going to know how to tie the sentences together using verbs, adjectives, nouns, etc., etc. It is only when you master the conversational components that you are able to broaden your vocabulary. Once you've solidified your foundation, it's time to take things to a professional level. You can do so by grabbing those project tutorials that you've been learning and working on and essentially stepping them up a notch. You can brainstorm some new ideas that you might want to implement, maybe add some new features, essentially anything that can make your code more valuable to the end user. At the end of the day, the end user is essentially the most important thing to take into consideration. You want to be setting your users up for a very user-friendly type of environment. In doing so, you're going to run into obstacles. This is where you need to be resourceful. You need to learn how to hop on GitHub, talk to other developers via Stack Overflow, maybe hop into some Telegram and Discord groups as well. Every modern developer knows that coming up with your own code is very hard without any external help. And at the end of the day, why would you want to do that? You need to stand on the shoulders of giants. All right, guys. Now, just as I promised in the intro of this video, I have real actionable steps that you can take, whether you are an experienced developer or whether you're just a straight up newbie, and use to become a Web3 developer in 3 months' time. All right, now first things first is setting up a blockchain node. Now, whether it's on the Bitcoin network, Ethereum, Solana, whichever ecosystem, this should take you 1 to 2 days depending on your level of experience. If you want to learn how to set up your own Ethereum node, hit this link and I will show you and give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to do so. Next, you're going to want to understand what consensus algorithms are. Particularly, you're going to want to understand what the most popular consensus algorithms are. For instance, you might want to start by looking up proof of work, proof of stake, delegated proof of stake, as well as proof of importance. Now, those are just some of the few, but you could go down the list and pick, I would say, between the top 5 to 10 consensus algorithms and really hammer them down and understand what makes them so popular. This should take you, depending on your level of experience, 1 to 2 days to really research these topics. Now, the third step is going to be forking your own blockchain, like the Bitcoin blockchain or the Ethereum blockchain or any other blockchain. Essentially, you can do this by copy and pasting the code that was already developed by the founders of this blockchain, modifying it, and redeploying it to create new tokens on your blockchain. Now, as I stated earlier, you're going to really need to be resourceful in these last 2 steps. You're going to be wanting to talk to other developers, really getting in there and communicating and hopping in these Discord groups, Telegram groups, GitHub, Stack Overflow, even hop on YouTube if you need to. Now, the 4th step is going to be changing your algorithm in your fork. Now, this is why in step number 2, I really wanted you to expand your knowledge on consensus algorithms, not just to the 4 that I listed, but to many more, because you need this exposure for the 4th step. In the 4th step, it should take you at least a week, even for experienced developers. Like I said, these last 2 steps are not easy, but at the end of the day, if it was easy, everybody would be doing it. Now, the 5th and final step is setting up a testnet for your fork and launching it online. This is by far the hardest step, and it should take anywhere between 1 to 2 months, given the experience level that you might already have. But once again, if it was easy, anybody would be doing it. But this is why, if you can complete this 5th and final step, this is like the last boss in that video game you always play. You can consider yourself a blockchain master. So in a nutshell, guys, I gave you 3 steps on how to become a blockchain developer. And I also threw in 5 actionable steps in which you can complete in a shorter time frame of about 3 months to become a master blockchain developer. Now, once again, hit that like button. Come on now, you know this is coming. As well as that subscribe button. And leave any comments in the comment section. If you guys have anything to say about this video, any criticisms, anything that you might want to mention about your journey to becoming a Web 3.0 developer. Guys, I put a lot of time and effort into these videos because at the end of the day, I believe in the mass adoption of crypto as well as blockchain technology. I do believe that within the next 2 to 3 years, the demand, even though the demand is already super high, the demand of blockchain developers is going to skyrocket. And if you're like me and you're going to be ahead of the curve, props to you. I'll catch you in the next video.